All right, the next topic in our study of beliefs and doctrines is eschatology, which you may recall is the study of the end times. It refers to the end of the world. In Islam, this is known as Yawm al-Din. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that correctly, meaning Day of Judgment. It's one of the main themes of the Koran. It includes the destruction of the world and all creatures, the resurrection of the body, judgment, and following that judgment, a reward, heaven, or punishment, hell, for all creatures. On the day of judgment, a cataclysmic cosmic event will occur at a time known only to God, and all will be raised from the dead. So what are the signs of Yawm al-Din? Well, one is the appearance of the great deceiver, referred to as, or known as Al-Dajjal, who will spread corruption and evil in this earth. This is sort of an Islamic antichrist figure, which is part of the eschatology of Christianity. Another sign is the return of the Mahdi. The Mahdi, you might recall, is a Muslim messianic figure in Shia Islam. Shias have an imam with a big eye, a successor to the Prophet who is a blood heir of the Prophet. And only Ismailis have a living imam, the Aga Khan. All other Shias believe at some point in the succession the imam went into occultation, into hiding. He's sort of in a different dimension, and he'll return at the end of time. A third sign is the second coming of Jesus. The Quran says, "And Jesus shall be a sign for the coming of the hour of judgment. Therefore have no doubt about the hour, but follow ye me. This is a straight way." Stay on the right path. The second coming of Jesus is definitely established in the prophetic traditions. Jesus will kill Al-Dajjal, establish justice, and reign over the world for 40 years as an upright and just ruler. And on Judgment Day, all the dead will be resurrected, body and soul. So Muslims, like Jews, are very, very focused on this idea of bodily resurrection, which is why they don't cremate the dead, but bury them. Quran says God will gather people together as if they had stayed in their tombs only 1 hour of the day. In other words, they'll be completely, physically restored. Muslims believe that heaven or hell, heaven is Jannah and hell is Jahannam. Eternal reward or punishment depends on whether human beings follow the will of God and act with justice toward others during their lifetime. God will judge each person using the record of each person's actions throughout his or her life that are recorded in the book of deeds. Remember, you have two angels following you around, recording all of your words and actions. Quran says, "Then those whose balance of good deeds is heavy will attain salvation, but those whose balance is light will have lost their souls and abide in hell forever." So I believe these rewards and punishment are not exclusive to Muslims. If the balance of good deeds is heavy enough. The Quran's vision of the afterlife is both spiritual and physical. Christians are kind of vague about that, but the Quran is very clear that it's spiritual and physical. Bodies and souls will be joined, and the pleasures of heavenly gardens of bliss and the pain of hellfire will be experienced physically, fully. The Garden of Paradise, Quran says, is a heavenly mansion of peace and bliss. Those who believe and do righteous deeds, they are the best of creatures. Their reward is with the Lord, Garden of Paradise beneath which rivers flow. They will dwell therein forever. God well pleased with them, and they with him. This is for those who hold their Lord in awe. Later traditions elaborated on the joys of paradise and the role of something called huris, or beautiful companions. The Quran makes no reference to a sexual role for the huris, but it's a word that is sometimes translated as virgins. Many Quranic commentators and most Muslims understand huris as virgins, but only in a sense of pure or purified souls. There's nothing physically sexual implied about it. There is this Islamist, extremist yarn about, if you die in jihad, then you'll, go to heaven and have 40 virgins at your disposal. That is a very heterodox idea and is rejected by the vast majority of Islam. Hell is a place of endless pain, suffering, torment, and despair, with roaring flames, fierce boiling waters, and scorching wind. The destiny of the damned, their punishment, is a just punishment. It's a result of human choice. The Koran says, "Verily, the sinners will be in the punishment of hell to remain therein. It will not be lightened for them, and they will be overwhelmed in despair. And we shall not be unjust to them, but it is they who have been unjust to themselves." It's an important point in all the Abrahamic faiths. People often ask, how can a loving God send people to hell? Well, I think really most Orthodox people would counter, how can he not? God is merciful and just. The mercy results in reward, heaven, and the justice results in punishments, hell. He is a merciful God, a loving God, and a just God. Now, gender is irrelevant. It's a criterion of judgment. Faith and deeds are the ultimate determiners of one's status in the afterlife. Quran says, "If any do deeds of righteousness, be they male or female, and have faith, they will enter heaven, and not the least injustice will be done to them." Also, verily, the noblest of you in the sight of God is the one who is most deeply conscious of him. So gender has no bearing. Both men and women will be rewarded with purer spouses and with gardens beneath which rivers flow. The Quran says, "But those who believe and do deeds of righteousness, we shall admit them to the gardens with rivers flowing beneath, their eternal home. Therein they have companions pure and holy. We shall admit them to shades, cool and ever deepening." It's not really clear to me. I think it's not really clear in Islam about wives and husbands who are righteous, will they be rejoined? It's just not really clear. And that concludes our brief discussion of eschatology.